What is up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us in person and also tuning into our YouTube channel at the Valley Care Wellness Center. This is the grand opening podcast here at the Valley Care Wellness Center, right next to Valley Pizza. It's an honor to be hosting here. My name is Zeke Rodriguez, and I am a natural healing expert. And my story and why I was so excited to team up and help Yudi and Steve out is because when I was 24 years old, I was told I would never run again. I had just got out of the military and had some really serious issues going on, and they wanted to give me all kinds of crazy surgeries. So instead of the surgeries, I got a third opinion because I was only 24. My own mom was like, "You don't need all these surgeries, you're so young." And that third opinion found out, said, "Hey man, you don't need all these surgeries. You just need some basically natural healing, some yoga, some stretching, some strengthening," and that was good. And that's what I did. And I now train for marathons, ultra marathons, and I have natural healing to thank for that. And so when Yudi had mentioned all this to me, I was more than happy and more than honored to host this and to find out that she had a very similar story. She had, relied on Western medicine and it kind of failed her. We talked about that in the previous podcast. But to open up the show, I wanted to ask Yudi again, what was it that what was it that the pivotal moment that inspired you to get this beautiful center open and to share it with the community?
Yeah. So first, thank you very much to everybody. And thank you, Zeke, for hosting it here and help us out with everything. Valley Care is a tribe we're trying to do all the holistic health first. It comes, like he said, with my story. I'm from Mexico, Chihuahua, and living in Ciudad Juarez, and having a lot of anxiety. That was my first issue. Really anxiety and nervous for the future. We have some different, everybody is different, and that was my point. So I get in the point to start getting panic attacks, sometimes even driving, have a really bad thoughts, and medicine, trying to work with me. I tried to work with the medicine, control, prescriptions and everything, but It was just sleepy and never fulfilled, never happy, never satisfied enough, There was something missing in there. And thanks God, in those times when I met Steve, that's why we are here, kind of. I met him, and he brought me in this community, Las Cruces. It was already familiar for me, for my grandmother, but I never lived in here. So when I moved here, things changed. I think that all the natural, this kind of natural medicines found me. I connect with myself a lot, and I start little by little. I start trying to healing little things, even doing yoga, meditations, but it's really hard. It's really hard for everybody, even if you have the pressure or anxiety or whatever, you have so many thoughts in here, more right now, how the world is doing. So in my journal, I start since literally with psychiatrist first, and then I move on to get my own medicine, natural medicines with organic juice.
Right.
That was the change. And I got more clarity, I got more focus in my job and in our business on Valley Pizza. So I start getting and building something. But at the same time, I still feel empty. Even if I was getting really good sales on Pizzeria and everything, but it was something inside of me that was saying, what's going on? It's not enough? Why you still sad? Why you still have this anxiety inside of you? So I just literally connect with myself and pray to just give me the answer. I will see the answer. I'm tired of this. And I found on a video a really incredible person, Luz Aurora. And she guided me and introduced me in ancestral medicines, the ayahuasca. And I did a ceremony, and from there, my life is another life. I think everybody in this room and everybody in Valley Pizza, people that know me, you can tell in photos, you can tell how I speak, how I move, how I walk, everything has changed. And I understand, I was thinking about what's going on, what happened in me. I want to go deeper. And I searched a lot of time, and I found that it's not only spiritual, it's something neural. It helps. And you're going through mental, emotional, or physical pain sometimes, and if we don't go deeper and ask questions to yourself, what's going on, you will continue with the same habits. But the medicine really transformed my life, transformed even how I think, how I have my perspective of life and the businesses. I come back home. Of course, my husband saw the differences, and he said, "Hey, I want to do whatever you did because I feel you, the happiness. I feel you, the love, and sometimes I don't match with you, and that's what's going on. And I understand, our frequencies wasn't the same. And of course, we went to a ceremony together, and since then, we life changing. And he's been, we both growing together, and as a person, individual person first, and as a wife, mother, and business owner, and everything. And now I have the opportunity to share. Like that was waiting for 1.5 years, almost, working in this, since construction, floor, everything, to give it in this community, because I found it in here. So I think I have this opportunity to bring it back to the community.
Yes.
And I feel so fulfilled, so proud of myself, to share a little bit of my story, and maybe can help somebody else they wants to heal.
And I think it's just so important to really kind of encapsulate that journey, because it was not just one thing, it's a lifestyle thing, right? It was the juices, because everybody knows now that our food and our environment is super toxic. So if you start wiping out those toxic lifestyles of the past and start going into more cleaner stuff like the juices here, and then there's also the breath work that I know you also train as well, and then there's the neural work, the sound bath, and then obviously the wonderful relationship with your husband. And we were talking about that earlier, and I'd like to ask him some questions too now, because I asked him earlier, I was like, hey, what was a pivotal moment for you, man? Like, what was it that got you into this lifestyle? Because this is something that you guys live. It's not something that you guys just do because it's cool and niche or whatever, but this is just who you are. So what was that, Steve? What was that moment? She kind of touched on it a little bit.
Like she was saying, when she came home from her ceremony, it was just, she was so radiant and glowing and so full of love. I wanted to touch into that. And so I wanted to just be on the same frequency as her, and be closer together. And that kind of, like you said, that's what started it, was that first ceremony when she came home, and it just completely changed our life. After my experience, I felt more connected with myself, more self-love, just a radiant glow, inside yourself. You feel this life force growing in you, and you feel like you're connected more with your body and your spirit, so I feel like that was the pivotal moment for us, was the ancestral medicines.
And I relate to that big time, because I've had a lot of experience with those medicines as well. And the biggest thing I gained from it was the introspection. I was able to look beyond this material world and beyond the normal fears that you have day to day, and really just look inside myself and work on myself. Because a lot of times our quirks, our spiritual downfalls, we avoid them, we run away from them. But when you're in that mind space with those ancient medicines, you can't run away from them. No. You've got to look at yourself and look at your faults. And there's also a lot of hope there. You feel that love energy, and that's like, hey, there's a way out of this. And so that being said, and can you introduce yourself, man? Because I know this is your specialty, right? And guiding people in these ancient medicines.
Yes. Well, I'm gonna start working here as well with Judy, and I'm gonna talk a little bit about my story.
Please, yes.
Well, I started studying myself when I was really young, around 13, 12 years, because I don't know, I have this religion thing going on, chaos going on in my house, because my dad was a Christian and my mom was Jehovah's Witnesses. So I was really confused. I was a little kid, and I'm really explorer. I like to explore. So I was really confused with the fights of the traditions of the religion. So I started traveling a lot. I started traveling, and also I started getting into these really old cultures in India and China, and then South America with the indigenous people, where that's our place where we study the most with the indigenous people. And I start noticing, we start getting into the health, into the mental health issues, and since I was little, I was pretty young, and then I get to know my husband on the way, on the medicine way, you know.
Okay.
We work with a lot since 20 years ago with a lot of different tools, herramientas, different tools to get into the brain, or to get to hack the brain, because the brain it's so that's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna do all this kind of therapy where we can get into the mind issue of the people, because all the sickness that we have, so all the health that we have is because it starts in the mind. So we have been working with this hacking, the brain hacking, for around 10 years.
Wow.
More. So yes, we're gonna be working here with a lot of interesting therapy.
Okay, and so you were saying you'd been doing it for almost 20 years. You got into it, and so let's go back to there was kind of a dichotomy, a split between your parents. With your research and studies, like, what is it that you kind of believe in now? What is your philosophy now? Is this more focusing on the mind and finding those root issues in the mind, and then that's going to kind of translate into your life, or what can you say about something like that?
Well, on the main, on the deep on what we are, we are energy. We are vibration.
Yes.
So it's a steps to get into a good vibration, and it's gonna start with eating well. It's gonna start with yoga, and then it's gonna start with another healing, a mental healing process. But the body first needs some steps, like get the body straight in good vibration, so we can start getting some ¿cómo se dice? Cirugías astrales.
Surgeries, astral surgeries.
So it's a step that we're gonna try to work here in Las Cruces to see how it works. We have been working with this around the world. It's not just here. We also do this kind of trips in Egypt or South America, or in a lot of places. So we work a lot with a lot of teachers with a lot of knowledge.
I love that. So world-class support here. But what I love about what everybody's been kind of saying is that there's no like quick trick or quick hack. You're not just going to wake up one day and be great and be fantastic. It's a gradual process. It's steps. It's a lifestyle, and it's a whole package. It's a holistic, a mind, body, and spirit. I think that's a common message that's kind of going around here, right? Thank you for sharing. Could you share your name with everybody too, please?
Ruth.
Ruth?
Ruth Cerda.
Cerda. Just thank you so much for sharing that. And thank your husband for joining us too. So we got two married couples here. That's so beautiful. But yeah, so now we can move on to the yoga instructor. Can you please introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Kelly White.
Kelly White, okay.
And Yudi, we know each other through a mutual friend who told me that she was looking for a yoga instructor. And I've just started teaching yoga in the last year. I've been practicing it for like about the last 2 years. Well, I started actually practicing when I was 17. I was in a yoga club at Mayfield High School over here. But really practicing seriously was like about 2 years ago. And so Yudi has really given me a lot of room for like creativity and stuff here, where I've gotten to we're doing like really nice, slow, accessible flows. There's some, like my grandma has been joining us, so
cool.
We stay on the floor for some people, you know, and so I don't know, I'm just really getting to learn a lot about myself as a teacher, and I'm really grateful to be a part of this because you just seem like such a beautiful person and so kind, and I live really close too, so like 2 minutes away, so it's really great. Yeah.
Now, I've met Kelly before, and last time I saw her, she was 60 pounds heavier.
Yes.
And so she's had her own hardcore, I don't want to say hardcore, that's a kind of a negative spin. She's a beautiful transformation. So you went from a lifestyle, somewhat of a toxic lifestyle. I mean, we all kind of share the same story. You know, we had a toxic lifestyle. We worked really hard on ourselves, and now we're just doing the natural thing, kind of, right? And you fell into the yoga thing. And it's so good to see you have that transformation. But can you speak to that a little bit? Do you mind talking about that?
Sure, yeah. So my story, I've been born and raised, I am born and raised here in Las Cruces, New Mexico. And I became a mom at a really young age, like 19 years old. And sorry, I can't get through a lot without crying. I'm also a crybaby. That's just something about me. But
Okay.
I also think it's really beautiful that I get to be vulnerable. And, I was a young mom, a single mom. My son's dad passed away, so I was just kind of by myself, and I turned to a lot of drugs and drinking for a really long time. Just a really reckless lifestyle here in Las Cruces, and I was like a dancer in El Paso, and just a lot of really dark stuff, DWIs, and then I was getting to the point where I was taking a lot of Xanax prescription pills. And they weren't prescribed to me. I was just taking them. And I was sleeping a lot and eating a lot of junk food, like fast food for all my meals. I didn't even realize, like you said, with our food supply and everything like that, it feels like we don't even, we go to Whataburger, we think we're getting like nourishment, and it's like doing the opposite to us, I got sober a year and 2 months ago. I've been sober from alcohol and Xanax. And there's a lot of hours in the day when you stop using drugs and drinking and stuff. So I started going to yoga a lot here in town, and it just became very sacred for me. I started losing weight as just a byproduct of it, because I really went to yoga because I love it and I wanted to feel good. And it's a spot where I can connect with my God and give gratitude for my body and for just being alive, being in this moment. But really, I had to work on my sleep, get really serious about my sleep. Water intake was a huge thing for me. I was not drinking enough water, and we're in a really dry, hot climate here, so we need more water than even like average people. And then, just trying to eat whole foods. I still go and eat ice cream sometimes, or go, to fast food. Valley Pizza's so good. It's my kryptonite.
Great stuff.
But for the most part, just being mindful about what I'm putting in my body. Like, if I'm going to eat something, it's like, how is this going to make me feel in a couple hours, Is it going to give me energy, or am I going to feel sluggish? So just all that, and it really is a lifestyle. It's not one thing. And the yoga, it helps you get physically healthy, obviously moving your body and stuff, but there's so many other benefits, like lowering your blood pressure, increasing circulation, and then just the meditation and the breathing is really the main part of it, though, because the poses, I say, are just for fun, really. It's just something to do while you're trying to, just focus on the breath. The breathing gets you deeper into the poses, and the meditation and being in the moment is really what yoga is about. It's really like a lifestyle, if you really want to get deep into it. And I don't know that much about it yet. I'm just learning, but yeah.
No, but you got a great story, and I relate to that, too. I was living a really bad life as well before I actually found this way of living, and it changes a person completely. But you got to go through the dark to get to the light. There really is no way to get to the light without having experienced some darkness. And I think a lot of people don't really understand that, or you should be humbled by that. Like, if everybody out there who's listening and you're thinking about getting into this stuff, and you might be embarrassed or ashamed about who you were, what you're into, don't be. Because we've all been there before. We all still struggle with that too. Every day is a struggle for me, every day. I pray, I do yoga, I stretch, I work out, I try to eat clean, but it's still tough. But being around people like you and hearing your stories, it makes me feel a lot better, and it humbles me as well. So if you're out there and you're curious, come on down to Valley Care Wellness. There's so many different ways to get into this. It's just one step at a time. You're not gonna jump in here and be a guru. You're not gonna jump in here and be a yoga instructor, but you got support here. And you've got so many different tools. You teach breath work, right?
Right.
So let's talk about that a little bit. So say someone comes in and they want to take some breath work classes, or get into that mode of healing. How would that work?
So first, breath work got me really good maybe a year ago. I'm been changing all my habits and have a ice bath, every morning, and take care of myself, love self, and juice bar and everything. But I found the breath, like she's mentioned about the breath is everything, because we are breathing beings, we breathe and we don't stop. So nobody teach us how to do it in the right way. So we're missing oxygen in our brain and in all organs. So when I started getting into the breath work, it was really surprised me, because I got the same feel, the ancestral medicine without the substance. So I was really incredible. In that moment, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go deeper. I'm gonna go and study a little bit more, and not only add it in my daily routine, but I wanna be able to teach these techniques. It's
Yes.
an ancient techniques, you know. It's no secret. It's nothing. But here in Las Cruces, it's not that much. So
It's so important though.
I start practicing every day and being better and better with myself first. And I got in Utah. We went for certificate for these techniques
Right.
and have the ability to identify the things that everybody is going on too. So reflect myself with them, and then we can work together and breathe together. So I got the rhythm with them. At the same time, my classes in here are gonna be Monday to Friday, 5:15, and really I think it's everything about music. Since I was 9 years old, I started playing the guitar. I called my dad and I said I want a guitar, and I started playing all kind of music, right? And that's one part of my story too, about being in different kinds of music and everything. And when I found this medicine, I kind of realized that not only what we eat affect us. You know, you are what you eat, what you listen to, what you see, everything. So I think, I'm a great musician, you know, for myself, and I will start singing and dancing this medicine music I found in 432 hertz, you know, are high healing frequencies. It helped me a lot to get in peace every day. You know, get a meditation, 5 minutes, 3 minutes. You don't have to be a lot. But my classes are about music, so I combine these techniques with music.
Wow.
And then I use different kinds of music. Could be some slow for relaxing techniques, just to regulate your nervous system. Or I like to use a lot of electronic healing music.
Okay.
It's a little bit more dynamic, and activate you, give you much energy. So we don't need the substance like coffee, exactly. So to activate that morning, you know, it's just something that you do, but you don't need it. When you really breathe right, your body knows that it's the sun up and you have energy.
Yes.
And of course, sleep well, you know, take care of yourself in general. But I was thinking how I can teach it to somebody that is not clean, you know, or that is no, and I'm teaching breath work, and it's not gonna understand the feelings, probably can have a headache or something. So we have this opportunity in this building, and I think about doing it holistic.
Right.
You know, so and then the people come into the breath work, it touch the yoga, it touch the spirituality, and it's touch the physical body, mental, emotional. It will be a change for sure.
And so, I love all that. We're going back to mind, body, spirit. That's also very key for the listeners out there. But you mentioned earlier that if you vibe with somebody, so if someone wants to come in and do breath work, you have like an intake form, or you kind of like go over their story with them, and are you trying to tap into their story, or you just kind of throw them into a breathwork class, or how does that work?
So for the classes is a little bit quick. I will have like just a quick conversation to know a little bit. But I really do holistic sessions, 101. You can find it on the website as well, where we can go deeper and identify what is going on. And you the same person does, you know. I just help them to give a lot of tips to find them, and they will know where is the most important thing that we need to work with. And I will have the tools in here for everybody, so now we can just share and really be in a team, but at the same time it's for everybody in the community.
It's like a group dynamic.
Exactly.
And the breath work is so important. That's something I'm getting more into. I've got into it more recently in the past few years, but Steve is big time in the breath work, and you do breath work every day, right? Can you talk about how you practice?
Every day I do breath work, in the mornings especially. Before I start my day, I like to just have some time to myself. I think it's important to give yourself the time to be within yourself, to find the light, to give gratitude, to give back, and to give thanks and appreciate life more. So by laying down and breathing for 15 minutes, a few rounds of some guided breath work, and you can have a guide like Yuri come in here and get you guys started. There's also other ways to do it. I follow some people on the internet, and I have a couple subscriptions on there as well. So There's different ways to do it, but definitely 15 minutes a day for me has been life-changing. I know those days that I do breath work, my days are more productive. I feel more light. I feel more vibrant, and my energy levels are higher. Mental clarity, just more self-love, you know. I think that's where it's at, and that's the main thing for the breath work, is just connecting with yourself, basically, because it's just you and the breath. And sometimes there's breath holds, and you get to just be in a nothingness, and just let the thoughts float away like clouds. You know, like you don't engage in the thoughts anymore. You're just with yourself, with your own life force.
Right, and so, you know, the breath work is so important, but I think a lot of times people they take it for granted. It's like you're just breathing, man, but
Yeah.
it's not like that. I've done hour-long meditations, 30-minute long meditations, and you really just get all the messiness that's in the back of your mind and the subconscious. You can actually work through that and experience it in your mind instead of expressing it in your real life, and that's kind of what I learned with breath work on my own way.
Yeah.
And I think that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, man. So we're going to take a quick little interlude right now, guys, and we're going to set up for the next round of the podcast. But I'd like to ask Ruth here in a second when we get back about how she feels about, you know, if someone's going to get into ancient plant medicines, is breath work a part of that? And how do we incorporate all these other elements or modalities into what your specialty is, okay? So thank you guys. We'll be back shortly.
Okay.